All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Nephisto's Legacy podcast. I have an exciting guest here today. I'm really fired up about it. His name is CPT Hedgehog. You guys may know him. He's got an insane website where it has pretty much every last word tool that you can think of on it. He's from server 487. And yeah, CPT Hedgehog, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and also I want to give a special shout out to the Last War Hub for connecting us. So thank you for connecting me and CPT Hedgehog. The Last War Hub is one of our partners, so definitely check them out. They have a Discord server you can join with lots of great information, as well as obviously the website we're going to get into, and I'm going to link both of those in the description of the video. But let's kind of start from the beginning because I know what you're really known for is your website. What inspired you to start creating these tools for Last War in the first place? Like, was it a certain challenge, or like maybe like that you guys needed a tool for, or like what was it exactly?
Really started just by playing, basically.
Hmm.
So when I start a game like this, I'm always interested to know how to best optimize my playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
And the game, especially at the start, just felt really daunting because you don't really know what you're doing. The game gives little information here and there, but it's not anything great.
Mm-hmm.
You just get carried away by a lot of red dots that you can click and then you can upgrade everything and everything
Right.
feels good. So yeah, based on that, I just started reaching out to others at the time in my alliance, like the ones that were ahead of me,
Mm-hmm.
just to get an idea of things that are to come, like how much hero experience do you need or what kind of building requirements do you need for the next headquarter level up, just so I could plan in advance a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And to track that, I started creating spreadsheets, and I know that a lot of people are still doing that, which is also my background there. Just moving everything to a spreadsheet just to have some data to work with. And eventually that led to me also explaining things to other people in the alliance. And that spreadsheet just started becoming bigger and bigger, all just because the game is a bit lacking on that side. So
Mm-hmm.
you're always unaware of what's coming next. And that's just the gap I try to fill by keeping track of all the data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of data to keep track of. Your website's pretty extensive. It's definitely a great resource. When it comes to building tools and stuff, like what goes into I guess building all those tools and then also making your like a full-on public website and with all those different features on it.
I think it's just something that got out of hand, basically.
Hmm.
So we just started with spreadsheets like most of the people around,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone knows someone that has something in a spreadsheet and that can calculate something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of those people.
Hmm.
And after a couple months of playing, I changed that up to a Discord bot, actually.
Hmm.
And that was something I added to the Alliance Discord that we had at the time, just so people could use it whenever they had a question. So if they wanted to know the hero experience for a specific level, they could ask the bot.
Hmm.
But I noticed that it was a bit of a learning curve for most because not everyone is using Discord in their free time. Some are
Mm-hmm.
very new to it. And the Discord bots have a bit of a annoying way of using them with the way commands are expected. So I noticed that not everyone was using it when they should, and people still had a lot of questions. And well, one thing led to another. And what happened next was basically that as soon as the first season hit, we all started looking for maps because we needed to communicate with other alliances on the same server. And eventually, those invasions happened in the first season,
Mm-hmm.
and everything started to be chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that there were no real good resources to communicate with one another, like how we're going to tackle the map. So, which alliances get which cities?
Hmm.
How do we communicate with each other to get strongholds together or to reset the protection timers on them?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I decided to do there was to create a season map
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to highlight which alliances could get a certain area, a certain village or stronghold,
Mm-hmm.
and also be able to plan ahead. And that's something that I invited a few people to. Only people I knew had access to it, and that's something that just kept growing for the second and the third season.
Mm.
And with the third season starting, I had the idea to also make a map for the desert artifact
Mm.
locations because I remember from the second season that we had a lot of supplies in the spreadsheet again. with the X and Y coordinates, but it was very hard to figure out where they were on the map exactly.
Yeah.
No one really knows where 400 is. To avoid that for the third season, I made an initial coordination map
Mm-hmm.
with the locations that I knew from other servers in our own grouping. And at that point, I thought, why am I actually doing all this? Because it's a lot of work for something that's just for me and a few others.
For sure.
So I decided to add more to it and then be able to make it a public
Mm-hmm.
website so everyone could access it. And that's really how it all started. We started with a map,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're here with all these kind of tools just to help everyone in Last War do things to their best.
Yeah, that's super cool. I know there's definitely a ton of features, and when I was looking at it, the maps are probably, at least in my opinion, I think the maps are one of the coolest features. Especially, I think it's
Yeah,
really
the
cool.
planner map, yeah.
Yeah, the planner map. Yeah, that one's really cool. And yeah, there's what is it called? Like the interactive seasonal map where you can kind of place like all the different buildings from the MG, the like for example, I'm in season 2, so I could put like the nuke range, the alliance furnaces, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's tons of maps like the scattered supplies maps, desert artifact coordinates, hive planning, calculators. There's a ton of amazing tools on there. So yeah, it's definitely a great resource for anyone who plays Last War. But yeah, I was kind of curious like how you decided which ones to build first, but it sounds like it all just kind of came naturally. Like you didn't have a specific order that you wanted to build them in. It just kind of came based off of the needs of you and your alliance. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, exactly. So it all started with the season maps and it grew from there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, at first it was just what is on my mind, what do I need? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Things that make my own life easier.
Right.
And from there, as soon as I decided to make it public, I started looking around more like what kind of questions do people generally have? What kind of tools are easy to add? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
also one reason to start with those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And from there, it started growing from just those maps to calculators that are more generally applicable for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's super cool. So for the maps, like specifically the scouted supplies map for season 2 and the desert artifacts for season 3, those obviously you have to have the exact coordinates for. Did you already have like the list of coordinates, or I guess how are you able to get all of those, and like did you have to do it manually, or like how did you find all the coordinates, and like what was the biggest challenge with that?
Yeah, for season three, because at the start of the season, I already had something in mind, like I want to have all the coordinates,
Mm-hmm.
just because I wanted to be able to get those lucky rewards myself.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did there was I paid close attention to the other servers in the grouping that we were in, because they were generally a little more ahead of us than our own server was.
Mm-hmm.
So what I could do was just watch what they were doing. Every time a desert artifact popped up, I would share it with some chat I had with the database, and that grew over time. And at that point, I had the exact coordinates because when you share them, you get the exact X and Y coordinates.
Yep.
So each time I could move from the game, put it in a file, and that file would be loaded into my own location map,
Mm.
and it would show it on the map itself. And that is basically how I got through most of the season three artifacts. So they were
Wow.
manually added by me,
Dang.
or some people that I were friends with at the time helped out with the higher level ones, like the level 7 ones, for example, were very hard for me to get because as soon as you can greenify, all of the 8 servers in the grouping would come and grab them.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually happened during my nighttime.
Mm.
So every time I woke up, they were already gone. So I had other people look out for those as well. As soon as they would see them, they would share them to me in a DM.
Mm.
And then I wake up to like 4 or 5 of them being in my DMs.
Dang. Yeah.
And for season two, it was actually quite funny because I didn't store many of them at the time we had season two in our own server.
Mm.
So I decided to create a new account on a server that was finishing up season one,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be getting season two in like a week or so. And what happened next was as soon as season two loaded, there was a bug, and that caused all of the supplies to show up on the map. They were all uncovered on day one. And I just went around the map and all of the ones I saw, I just sent them to another account in the end. And I just kept doing that for like an hour.
Oh wow.
And by the time I was finished, they also released a patch to
Mm.
resolve the issue. And then they were all covered again. But that really helped me to get a massive list of the season two supplies.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm very confident that majority of those supplies are in the tool by now.
Mm-hmm. Are you missing any, or is it actually like every single one?
Now, there are some missing because there is a lot of overlap, especially for level 1, 2,
Oh
and
yeah.
3
Mm-hmm.
supplies with mines and other bases.
Right.
And those are hard to find because of things being in the way.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, I get additional supplies from users that found something that wasn't on the map yet.
Mm.
So with time, I hope to get them all, but we'll see how long that takes.
Yeah. That's crazy that you had to do all that manually. I'm sure that was a ton of work, but it's definitely a great tool that definitely comes in handy for anyone going into season 2 or season 3. Because yeah, definitely some good loot there.
Yeah, definitely. It helped me a lot in season 3 to get all the weapon shards and everything that you get with the lucky rewards.
Oh yeah. So I know you're like we talked about before, the custom planning map. It lets people build and share kind of like hive layouts and different strategies and stuff like that. How do you see alliances leveraging it during like capital wars or other seasonal wars?
Yeah, so this was created quite recently, actually. We just finished season 4,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of season 4, had this map available for us as well. The way we used it was mainly for defenses, because then we had a layout for you go there, you go there, you go there, just to get most of the space occupied, so they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't reach the Alliance Center in time. It was a bit late for us because it was only for the last 2 battles or so that I had it ready, but that was the main idea, is
Mm-hmm.
to have a defense plan available by having an easy access tool to put bases in a specific spot and names. So you can say you go in a specific area with the coordinates and everything
Mm-hmm.
provided. But in addition to that, it's really versatile, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So people can make their own maps, of course. They can make a layout that resembles their capital. They can make a layout that resembles something for Marshall Guard. For example, put all the Air Force in the middle and people with high power around it just to optimize that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also seen people use it just for funny shapes that they want to use for VS, for example, when the opponent is coming over to their server. You
Mm-hmm.
can use it for whatever you really want.
Yeah, it's a really cool tool. I mean, it's got everything, even all the way to like the resource tiles. Even I was pretty like impressed when I saw that too. I was like, wow, you can even put the resource tiles there. That's crazy.
Yeah, because they're always in the way. So if you have to plan something, it's sometimes necessary to include those as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they're always in the wrong spot.
I know, right? uh, so I know you also have a pretty extensive calculator list on there as well, from like hero experience, gear, HQ and building resources, overlord training, like weapon, hero, drone, gear shards, and even some event specific tools like ammo bonanza and the desert treasure. Were a lot of those user requested, or were they your ideas to set them up, or how did those come about?
At start, it was all based on the spreadsheet that I had. So all the straightforward calculated like hero experience, drone parts, that
Mm,
all comes from there.
mm-hmm,
Those were the most obvious choices as well, because everyone always asks about those kind of things, like what's next, what kind of
mm-hmm,
experience do I need. So those were the obvious choices to start with, and that most people are interested in and already have some sort of spreadsheet of their own for.
mm,
The ones that you mentioned, like Ammo Bonanza, is something that, yeah, it recurs every once in a while. That when the event happens, everyone is always asking, "Oh, how many bullets do you need again?" Because no one really
oh
remembers
yeah.
it because it's such an awkward number.
I was just asking that
So
actually
eventually,
yesterday.
yeah. See, so to avoid that, I decided to also put that one up on the website, so you can
Mm-hmm,
always reference it, and also to have a better idea of
mm-hmm,
how far away are you and what would happen if you use your current bullet. Because some people want to dare it, and they don't mind if they have to buy a few more ammo, for example.
mm,
So they want to know how close can I get, and if they can get to level 95, then whatever happens, I will just buy the rest if needed.
mm,
And that's where the calculator also shines.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it depends a bit on the calculator. Recently, I've gotten more feedback and more requests for additional ones.
Mm-hmm,
And let me think one example. What was it? I think the Alliance help calculator. So there you can input the survivors you have and how much time they would help.
mm,
And then you can decide whether your gold ones are better for the building or the research that you're trying to speed up, or if you are better off with your purple ones.
mm, yeah.
But that was user feedback, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was curious which one of the calculators got some of the, I guess, highest usage, or like which have you gotten the best feedback from with the from players with the calculators?
Best feedback, I would say, would be the supply map
Mm,
and the artifact maps.
Oh yeah.
Because most people are very happy with those, and then you also get a lot of positive reactions on it, even though they can't help you with anything else. They're just happy to share that they have been using it and that to help them a lot with it, and that they have been able to get all the lucky rewards that they wanted.
Mm.
So that's definitely number one for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for usage, they're also together with the server list. Those will be the pages that have most visitors for now.
Mm.
And then the calculators themselves, they average a lot of visitors all around. So if you could combine them all, that would be the most viewed part of the website.
Mm.
But because they're all individual pages, of course, it's split.
Right. No, that's really cool. I'd love to see the stats on your website. To me, it just sounds so interesting of like the back end analytics of the viewers and like what people love the most, and just seeing the traffic that you get. I'm sure is pretty fun.
What I noticed recently is that you can actually see which PS day it is. For example, if it's Monday or Thursday, then you will see an increase in the hero experience calculator.
Hmm.
And if it's Monday, you also see a spike for the drone parts.
Oh
So you can
wow.
really see that people are saving up for those VS days and that they want to know how far they can get
Hmm.
with their resources on the day itself. That's quite funny to see.
Dang, that's cool. That's fun. Is there any like surprising user behavior or surprising, I guess, preferences that you've noticed?
Surprising, not necessarily. I would say that those spikes were the surprising thing, that you could really see that they are waiting for the VS days to use their resources.
Yeah. I guess like setting up a website, I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it. So I'm curious, were there any technical difficulties with setting up these different features, or maybe not just the website itself, but like the maps and the calculators. Like it seems a little bit advanced. Were there some technical difficulties with it?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I was adding to it was new. So the calculators like Euro XP are just inputs and some basic calculations and you're done.
Mm,
But for the maps, I never use Leaflet, which is the underlying package that I'm using. So that was all new to me.
mm,
And also challenging is just to find the data for it.
mm.
But it's not necessarily something with the technical side of things, just finding enough data to be able to provide people with the calculators. That's the most difficult part.
Yeah, I was kind of curious how it looked like the typical workflow with building a new tool or even updating an existing one.
Yeah, definitely depends on the kind of tool, but generally speaking, I make it a very simple outline first,
Mm,
just to know what do I want the tool to do, what kind of data does the user want it to produce,
mm-hmm,
and then I make a very rudimentary version of it that just has an input, output, and make sure that everything that I want to provide to it is possible and that it provides me with the data that I think is useful.
mm-hmm,
And often I end up sharing it with a few friends just to get some outside views on it, get
mm-hmm,
an idea of if it's really working the way I think it should work, and if
mm,
they understand it, because it has to be understandable as well, of course.
right.
And then once it goes through there and I'm happy enough, I'll put it online and then I wait and see and I wait for feedback from the actual users.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm sure it's really fun as well just to see your work, like because you've definitely worked really hard on the website, so and all the different features. So I'm sure it's really rewarding internally whenever you've worked really hard on one of these different features, and then it's just like a complete hit in the Last War community.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
And sometimes they even reach out to me in game. So I get DMs from like a server in the 100 range or the 1000 range. And it's always funny that they are, well, first able to find me because it's always a bit of a mess to get to other servers.
Oh yeah.
Just the fact that they recognize me and just send a message like, hey, thank you for doing this. You really helped us. That always makes my day.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Yeah, I know. I've kind of had the same experience with the YouTube channel as well, where people from servers like pretty far back will because I'm in server 1130, so I'm definitely not an early server by any means, but I've had people from definitely the early like 600s, 500s, probably even earlier than that as well. Actually, I think I've had some from even like the double digits message me too, and just say, like, "Hey, bro, love the YouTube channel," things like that. I'm like, "Geez, how'd you find me?" I was like, "That's
Yeah,
crazy."
exactly. Yeah, and that's always great to get. You don't really expect it. You're just going by and suddenly you get a message like, hey, thanks for doing this. And that's just great.
Yeah, it's cool to see that people from all over are using your tool, or watching, like for me, watching my channel and things like that. It's very encouraging for sure. So yeah, keep sending us messages, guys. We love the encouragement.
Yeah, exactly. Keep getting in touch. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Speaking of servers, I know you're like another pretty cool feature on your website is it tracks all the servers, how many days there are, what season they're in, or any significant, I guess, events or like arms race type things, and I think it even tracks the shiny tasks. Is that correct?
Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
does. Yeah.
So how do you get all that data and have that continually updating, like pretty much every day?
Yeah, so there's some magic involved. I can't really disclose the details of the magic
Mm-hmm.
part, but the rest is just logic based on the server age. So, for example, the shiny tasks, they just rotate every 3 days. So, as long as you know when the server was created, you can determine when the shiny tasks rotate on that server.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes for arms race. It all starts on day three,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just starts on the first arms race day, and it rotates through it for the week. So that's also why every server is on a different day, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're close together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same for pretty much everything. The only real thing that differs every time is when seasons start, because they need to have a specific amount of servers available before they can start a new season due
Mm-hmm.
to all the groupings that they have. So often you see that specific servers will start the season quite early on in terms of having a short off-season period.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, there will also be some that just keep on endlessly waiting because they were right on the cutoff date, basically. And now they have to wait until enough new servers arrive in the off season to
Mm-hmm.
make new groupings for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a bit of a manual task to figure out, oh, which server bracket has started a new season now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of manual interaction and a lot of automation, and I'm trying to make it fully automated, but I'm not completely there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that would be like kind of challenging, I guess, thinking about it because yeah, the season sometimes can be a little bit tricky about when they start. I mean, obviously you have like the certain days of like how long each season is, but I remember like for example, Nephisto he has two accounts. Well, actually he has more than two, but originally he had two accounts, which was 11:30 and 12:40. But then 12:40 got access to some things almost before 11:30 did for some reason. So I feel like that could get a little
Yeah.
bit tricky sometimes.
And also sometimes they try things. And what you can also see now with season one that they're starting to make changes to it. So
Mm,
there's all kind of stuff going on that we never had because season one was just the basic invasions and nothing else. And now we have fancy weather events and everything going on.
mm,
So that also affects the amount of servers that they usually put in a season,
mm,
just because you have the testing group available as well.
mm-hmm,
And you see the same on the older servers. Like if season five comes around eventually, you'll see that they will try to put it first on a small bracket of servers to
mm-hmm.
test before all the others get it.
That makes sense for sure. So, kind of going back to the website, I know you have on there like that you have additional tools that are being worked on for some of the features, or like you have some kind of notice where like it talks about oh this is coming in the future, those kinds of things. I guess
Mhm.
without spilling all the secrets, unless of course you want to, are you able to tease any upcoming features or ideas that you're excited about with the website?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on something related to tech research.
Mm-hmm.
So my idea is to have eventually all of the tech trees available on the website so you can just scroll through them all and calculate how many resources you need.
Mm,
For now, I'm in the last stages of finishing that up. So hopefully soon enough that will arrive on the website.
mm,
And at first, it will just have a focus on the T10 research requirements
mm,
and troop mastery,
mm-hmm,
siege to size, defense fortification,
mm,
those kind of things, because that's where I have my own data for.
mm-hmm,
And I hope that as soon as it goes online, that I can get more people interested in sharing their own research screenshots so I
mm,
can fill in the gaps. But yeah, that's on top of my list for now. And everything else is hugely dependent on feedback. So I have my little list of things that I want to do,
mm-hmm,
and depending on what people ask me, I will move things up or down just to see where the majority will be interested in. Or if it's some niche thing, then would also consider adding it. But generally, I just try to follow my list along, and then whatever happens, happens.
mm-hmm,
And if new things arrive, I also have an account on one of the earlier servers for that reason.
mm,
So, for example, when T11 arrives next week, then I hope to outfit that as well as soon as I can.
mm-hmm.
Just depends on how quickly I can get all the necessary data for it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's really fascinating just to kind of hear the behind the scenes of it for myself. I mean, I've never really considered myself a huge data guy by any means. I mean, a little bit with YouTube, like looking at the analytics and things like that, but it's really cool to see kind of
Mm.
just how you've put everything yeah, just put everything together. Really, it's really cool to hear about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of data involved with these kind of games. It's just hard to get by.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine. What would you say is your overall like if you could have the website completely done, like your complete end result, what does that look like? Or maybe do you even have like a vision for like do you know what your end result will look like since they're constantly adding new things?
I do have some ideas. I don't know which one will actually make it, but I would love to have some more AI integration with it, just so
Hmm.
people could be asking it their questions and it will provide them with actual good answers based on the calculators and potential guides that will be on there.
That'd be cool.
But that's far out for now. I first want to have everything in order and then I'll start considering that.
Yeah. What would you say is one, I guess, tool or trick on your website that maybe a lot of players miss or overlook?
I think that's a tough question for me to answer. I really hope the website is easy enough to understand everything without there being any hidden tricks to it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I hope it's not really a thing. And if it is, then, well, it's hard for me to judge it.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. Just out of curiosity, how many monthly users do you think that you get on your website?
For now, what it looks like, it's around 175,000
Holy cow.
users.
That's crazy. That's awesome
Yeah,
though.
so it's really picking up. Yeah.
Hmm. Have you seen like a pretty consistent trend of just more and more people each month?
Yeah, every week, basically, it's still increasing. So I hope
Jeez.
I can continue that for a while.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome to hear. So I guess the last thing is how can listeners contribute, whether it's through, I guess, feedback or maybe bug reporting, feature suggestions, or just supporting your work in general? How can they contribute?
On the homepage, I have a section to contact me. So they can do it either through Discord, Reddit, or email.
Hmm.
Generally, I'm fastest to reach on Discord if they have a question or if they have feedback. And it is also the easiest one, especially for things like sharing coordinates, because it's always better if you have a screenshot with it. So everything through Discord will be easiest.
Hmm.
And I do get a lot of messages, so I'm not always able to respond to you soon, but I'll get to it, so don't worry. And yeah, other than that, other ways to help me is really just by spreading the website itself. So word of mouth is really important for these kind of things. And
Hmm.
if the tools help you, then just please share it with everyone you know.
Hmm.
That will only make the tools better as well, because I will get more feedback and be able to refine them where needed.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, definitely check him out, guys. And like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna put the link to his website in the description. Well, yeah, CBT, thanks for jumping on the podcast. It's definitely been a pleasure talking to you. And is there anything else that you want to add before we close it out?
No, that's been great that you would like to have me. And it's great that you're doing these kind of podcasts as well. It gives a bit more information to the entire Last War community as well.
Hmm.
So that's great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, happy to have you. Yeah, thanks again for jumping on.
Yeah, no worries.